No matter where you are in your financial journey, a side hustle could be your best friend to expedite your financial process. When you think about goals like, I don't know, retirement or buying a house or even paying off debt, it can sometimes seem like a fantasy because it seems like it's just never going to happen. If you're human like me, thoughts of giving up can continue to creep in from time to time, and it'll feel like at times no progress is being made, and exponentially make those thoughts increase inside of your mind. One key component to keep this to a minimum is to, well, not let just a little bit of progress be made. One easy way to do this for financial goals is to pick up a side hustle that will increase your total income, helping you achieve your goals faster. In today's episode, I'm going to provide you 3 reasons that a side hustle should be your best friend and one you should strongly consider. Here we go.
Welcome to the Financial Mirror, where future success is reflected in our knowledge of fixing the one thing we can control, ourselves.
Thanks for joining me today on the Financial Mirror as we continue to work on improving the one thing you can control, yourself. So if this is your first time joining in, don't forget to hit that subscribe on YouTube to be notified when all the new episodes are released. If you are listening to this on the podcast, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast. If you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave that 5-star review and a written comment, as both of those go a long way in spreading this information with other listeners. On schedule today, I want to cover 3 ways, that's 3 ways, 1, 2, 3, count them, that side hustles can help you improve your financial situation. So without further ado, I am going to start off right where I left off last week. So if you missed last week, make sure that you go and listen to last week's episode as I went over all the gushy and gaga and galling over Instacart. I mean, I spent about 35 minutes and I talked nothing but about Instacart and how much I have fell in love with it. But that led me to realize there's so much more available than that. And I decided that this week I was going to do an episode that talked about just that. What's all that other stuff that's available to you that you can do to pick up extra income every single month? Now, the thing that I'm not going to go over is every single individual way that you can technically make more money every month. But what I'm going to show you is 3 reasons why you should do it. And I'm hoping that these 3 reasons will sort of knock down some of those barriers that you currently are facing that are causing you to prevent yourself from taking that extra step, taking that leap of faith, and going out and saying, I'm going to pick up this side hustle in order to reach my goals faster. Because as I alluded to in the intro, it's easy to commonly feel like that you're just not making progress. And whenever that happens, it can truly become detrimental to your journey because you can begin to falter, you begin to alter and get off track of where you were headed. And if you are like most people, the idea that money being saved now or money being gained now even, it can be hard to imagine that it's going to take decades for that money to grow to all these magical numbers that people talk about. Oh, you're going to retire with $4 million. Yeah, but you don't see it right now. And that's the problem. That's the hardest part because you're human. So it's okay if you feel like that. You're not a robot. You're not supposed to be this robotic figure that all of a sudden says, I know for a fact what I'm doing right now is going to equal $4 million in fill in the gap of years. And I know that this is the right thing to do. We're human. It takes time to understand that. But once you do, life gets gravy. So This week, I'm going to cover the 3 ways side hustles are going to help you improve your financial situation. And the thing I wanted to say up front is I don't care where you are in your journey. No matter where you're at in your journey, you can benefit off of these 3 reasons. Because unless you are exactly where you want to be, which to all of us that are just in total grind mode all the time, we're never going to be satisfied. There's always something that you can do. So a little bit about why I started Instacart. I'm doing Instacart currently. So this isn't something that I'm just, blowing smoke your way and not doing myself, but I'm doing it to pay for a wedding, right? I got engaged and I want to use Instacart to fund that wedding. I think what better way to pay for a wedding than and budget for the wedding than to just say, I'm not going to spend more than I earn, right? And there's no other better way to break that out than say, Instacart is my wedding money. My fiance has helped out. She's doing Instacart as well. And it's just been a lot of fun. So side hustles can be fun, but that's the great part, is that there is value in them. And today, after these 3 reasons, I hope that you see value in it and that it can put you on the right track to your financial goals. So here are the 3 ways that this new side hustle is going to be your best friend and improve your finances. So number 1, you get to work when you want. And I think this is one of the most attractive parts of the side hustles. Now, what I want to cover here is I want to tell you that you can't like for Instacart, for instance, you can't just sign up for Instacart and never work and expect to make anything, right? I mean, that's pretty common sense, but it must be said. So I wanted to say this, and when I say work when you want, because you got to have a little bit of drive, a little bit of initiative to go get after the side hustle that you are taking on. So 2 different ways that you can attack the side hustle that allows you to work when you want. Number 1 is you can trade your time for cash. This is going to be sort of like a W-2 employer or a contracting approach. This is where I'm going to work for like an Instacart. I'm going to go and drive for Uber, or I'm going to all of a sudden go pick up a W-2 job and work part-time somewhere. That's me. I'm trading my time for money. I'm trading my time for cash. And that is one very easy way to go out and make more money. Now, what comes with that is the freedom to work when you want. If I don't want to go deliver for Instacart today, I'm not going to. If I get super busy at my normal job and I don't feel like I have the time or the effort to want to go out and do it, well, guess what? I'm just not going to do it that day, but I'm going to pick up the next day or on the weekend or whatever. Now, the second way that you can work when you want is you can trade a skill for money. Now, what is that? That means that if you have a skill in your current employer that you're good at building websites, or you're good at writing and you want to do freelance writing, or you want to critique other writers, do book reviews, or whatever your specialty is, teach people to play guitar. I mean, I don't know, fill in the blank. What are you good at? Go trade that skill for money. This is a very beneficial way for you to make additional cash. This is not you trading your time for, in essence, you will have to give up some time, but you're really and truthfully, you're providing a skill or a service that someone needs and they're paying you for it. So most likely it's something that you enjoy. So it's not as draining as that trading time for cash. Now, you do have a freedom of schedule when you're working when you want. So if whatever your primary job hours are, if you work a 40-hour, work week, side hustles can work around it. And that's what's so beneficial. So your days off each week, go knock out that side hustle, trade your time for cash, drive for Uber, Instacart, deliver Uber Eats, whatever it is, go find something that you can work around that fits your life, your schedule, and your skill set. The great part, once again, that comes with that is that if if something comes up, you don't have to work. You really don't. Don't force yourself. You won't stick with it for the long run if you force yourself. So don't do it. Now, if you do want a job with a set schedule, you kind of lose that freedom of schedule, because if you're committing yourself to an employer and you're saying, I'm going to work part-time, please continue to hold up your end of the deal, hold up your commitment and say, I'm going to work when you put me on schedule. Now, be transparent up front with your employer so that they know what your availability looks like. So stick to that, and it could really work out for you. A story about me: when I first moved to Hawaii, I started working at Best Buy part-time. I didn't know anybody. I had no friends or family out here. And I was like, what better way? I was working as a general manager at Best Buy before. I said, what better way to learn people, learn the area, and make a little extra money than just go work part-time at Best Buy. I was no longer general manager. I took on a sales consultant role, and I did that. And I actually did that for about a year. And the reason that I stuck with it for so long was for the simple fact that I loved the people and I loved being there. I did eventually, my life did get a little bit more hectic, and I could no longer really provide for them like I felt the need or what they needed. So I stepped away from it. But if you have a passion and a love for a company and you want to go and put trade some time for cash, go do that, because the best part is most of these part-time employers will let you work when you want or when you're available. And that's so key. So number one is you get to work when you want with that side hustle. Number two, you get to make money doing what you love. And I think that this is the biggest part, and this is what helps people push towards their goal, whatever that financial goal is. So I have a friend, right? And I work with him, and he writes books, and he is, constantly looking at other people's writing, and he just grades it. He verbalizes and he says, look at that error, that error, that error, that error, whatever. But he writes books for a living. He has a skill. He loves doing that. He could simply, for him, he could simply post that he's willing to write or review your writing for cash, right? He has a skill set. He has something that a lot of people will pay money to get. That could be that he writes blogs for them. That could be that he reviews their writings. That could be that he does book reviews because he's familiar with the process as an author. But all of these things are things that he's good at, and people are willing to pay for that skill. So what I want you to do is think about the skills that you're good at. What's something that you're good at? And if you need help with this, ask your coworkers, ask your friends, what am I good at? Like, what do you see? And, or even a better question, if there was something that you needed, like something you needed done, what would that be where you would come to me first and ask? What would that be? And whatever they fill in the blank with, that's an amazing opportunity for you to say, that's a skill that I have, whether you identified it or not prior to this. That's a skill that you have, and you can make money doing that. It's very straightforward. It's very simple. It doesn't have to be something that you are constantly working, right? It doesn't have to be something that you're constantly doing, like that trading time for cash. This can be something where you post on some kind of website out there, and I'm going to go over a couple, but you do some kind of freelance work, right? That's an amazing opportunity. Or maybe you post your your business cards around grocery stores, or if maybe you're into woodworking, and maybe you say, hey, you go to some kind of like Ace Hardware or a Home Depot if they allow you, and say, hey, I'm just wanting to post this as like a business card on a wall somewhere, saying I do woodworking, and you could maybe even make projects on your own that you sell on like a Pinterest or something. I mean, there's 1,000 ways to make additional cash with the side hustle market. You've got to find what your niche is, what is your skill set, and what do you bring to the market. Once you identify that, start thinking about, what do I have time for first? That goes back into number one, you get to work when you want. And then what is that skill that I'm good at that I can trade for cash? So a couple ideas. If you love helping others, maybe like an online tutoring is for you. That's a great option. If you love dogs, maybe dog sitting. I'll tell you, I've used a dog sitter in the past. And she identified to me that she just loved dogs. She works from home. She has all the time on her hands to give the love and attention that a pet needs. And I left my dog with her for a couple nights, and it was a great opportunity for her because she got to be around something she loves, which are animals. And I was winning because I gave my dog to stay with someone that is going to provide him the love and attention that he deserves, right? So maybe that's you. Maybe you have a skill, or maybe you just love pets and you want to use that one. But there's dog sitters, there's dog walkers, there's online tutoring, there's, like I said, Instacart. I am galling over Instacart. I think it's a great thing. I've had nothing but success out of it. But you've got to figure out what it is that you love, what's that skill that you have, and what can you offer to the market that people are willing to pay for. Now, what I don't want you to ever fall into is this like imposter syndrome where you just don't think you're good enough, right? You just don't think that what you're offering is good enough. Nobody's going to want this. Don't fall into that. People want something. You are a value in some capacity. You identify it, use your friends, use your family, use your coworkers. You identify that, and all of a sudden, you will be on the right track to figuring out how you can make money doing what you love. And that was number 2. Finally, number 3, you get the opportunity to learn or improve on a new or existing skill. Now, you can learn a new skill or you can improve on an existing skill. And this is the final reason that side hustle is going to be your best friend, because you get to learn a brand new skill that you've never done, or you get to improve on a current skill. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let's go back to my woodworking example. Maybe you want to be, better at woodworking. Maybe that's something that you really enjoy. Maybe you're not great at it yet, but you really enjoy it. Well, what's keeping you from doing that and doing it in such a capacity that you enjoy it while still being able to maybe sell what you're making, right? That's crucial. Most people enjoy turning hobbies into cash. Why? Because the simple fact is, if it's a hobby, that means at one point you enjoy doing it. Now, what you don't want that to do is to create this hobby that now turns into a full-time job, unless you want it to be. If you don't want to do that and you want to keep it a hobby, please monitor how your growth is with that skill and how you're selling it, and keep that under control to the point that it stays a hobby so you can stay enjoying it. Now, a couple of examples that I came up with because I really wanted to be able to drive home this idea that you get to learn or improve a new skill. Some examples is if you're uncomfortable talking to others, maybe you need a job that's going to help you or force you even to interact with strangers. That could benefit you. Maybe this is a call center you work for where you just have to talk on the phone. You don't have to face-to-face them. You just talk on the phone and you just get comfortable talking to people. Or maybe it's something like Instacart where you don't really have to interact that much. I'll be honest with you, just as a grocery deliverer, a lot of times you just leave it on their doorstep and take a picture of it, unless you can meet them at the door, right? But if you do like alcohol delivery, they require you to interact with the customer. You maybe have to interact over chat when you're trying to find replacements. But you've got to find something. If you want to improve on a skill, you've got to practice it. So they tell you, if you want to get better at public speaking, what do? You speak publicly, right? But you got to find something. If there's something out there that you want to get better at, there's a chance that you could get paid while getting better at it. What if you're bad with time management? Well, maybe taking a job as a virtual assistant could help you improve on that. I've got on the websites I'm going to show you momentarily, there's a couple of websites out there that you can sign up to be a virtual assistant. Maybe you want to do Instacart. What I told you last week in my episode, what I do during Instacart is I listen to audiobooks and podcasts. If you learn a lot from audiobooks and podcasts, picking up something like Instacart or Uber is going to give you the time in the car and walking around and away from others and sort of to yourself that you can do those things, which is an amazing opportunity to take on those next chapters of your life. So with all of these improved and new skills even, they're not going to just help that side hustle. And that's the part I want you to think about. If you're bad at interacting with others and talking to strangers, you're not only is your life going to improve when you improve on that skill, but your current job could improve on that. If you're really bad with time management, not only is your life going to get better when you improve on that, but your normal job is going to improve on that. All of these things, maybe I'm an IT guy, right? So maybe I want to stay current on all the new technology that's coming out. Well, that podcast that I'm listening to as I'm doing these grocery deliveries, that's going to help me in making sure that I'm staying up to date on what's going on. So you can see that there's a lot of opportunity out there for you to learn or improve on an existing skill. So take the time and understand that those options are out there. Now, I've went over a couple of the types of side hustles over the last few sections, but there are multiple out there. And I found 2 websites that I want to show you that you can really get some resources or even ideas that will help you pick a side hustle that's going to work for you. So if you missed my Instacart review last week, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I promise it's the last plug for Instacart, but I really liked Instacart. So if that's something that interests you, don't forget to sign up for Instacart using my sign up link so that you can get your sign up promotion when you get started. I went over it last week, but don't start Instacart without a sign up promotion. It's taking money out of your pocket. So drop down to the show notes right here and grab that sign up link if you want to do Instacart. Now, for part-time jobs, I found 2 websites. Oberlo, I don't even know what this is, oberlo.com. /blog/online jobs. All the links will be in the show notes. So if you're listening to this on a podcast, you can still go back and look at exactly what I'm showing on the stream. So please take a moment and go and do that. But you can see right here, this website gives you 25 jobs with actual links to different organizations that provide those jobs and what you can sort of expect from an hourly earnings rate. Now, the part that I want to bring up right here is that these are mostly going to be those trading your time for cash type of jobs. Some of them will be skill-based, and that's going to be stuff like freelance writing or email marketer or proofreader. There's a couple in here that's going to be more skill-based. And those are the ones where you're trading those skills for cash. Find what you're looking for. This is one website I found. It's got 25 on it. And then I found a Dave Ramsey website as well that's also in the show notes. But he goes over, the same thing. When on this article, it gives you examples of companies that you can go and do exactly what it's telling you to do. So I think that's crucial. I think that that's a game changer because you can probably scroll through this list and find 3 or maybe even 4 that you are interested in. Then maybe try out all 3 or 4, and one of them you're just going to fall in love with. And whenever that happens, you will realize that side hustle is now going to be your best friend. And that's the part that I wanted to ensure that I mentioned because it is. When you're thinking about your financial goals and you're thinking about how you can easily get set back when feeling like you're just not making progress and those setbacks happen, that little pick me up of that side hustle is going to give you that little bit of encouragement that you need to keep going and keep pushing towards those goals. But I want you to remember one thing. As I'm wrapping this up, I want you to remember this. Side hustles are not going to make you rich. And I'm going to say that one more time. Remember this. Side hustles are not meant to make you rich. They're side hustles. If you were going to be rich doing it, it would be your job. Okay? So let's realize that up front. If a side hustle was meant to make you rich, it would just be your job. Which leads me to, if a side hustle starts to make you rich, Well, that should just be your new job. And maybe just pick up another side hustle. Maybe you just drop your W-2 employer. I don't know. I don't know what your financial situation looks like. But what I'm saying is, let this be a side hustle. Let this be a thing that brings in, an extra $2 or $3 or $500, even $1,000 a month. Because there's a single sole intention, and that is to speed up the process to navigate the steps in your financial journey. That's what the side hustle for. The side hustle is there to speed up the process to get you to where you want to be financially. That is what it's meant for. That is its purpose. And please understand that as you're going into it. So when you see, I only made $50 today, cool. That's $50 towards whatever that next step is in your financial journey. So as I wrap this up, when I'm talking with clients, I focus on Dave Ramsey's baby steps, which are, first off, build a $1,000 emergency fund. Second off, pay off all your debt. Third, create that fully funded emergency fund. Next, invest 15% for retirement. Then save for your kids' college, pay off the house, and then build wealth and give. Going in that exact order is the steps that I teach when I'm talking to clients. When we're going through their finances, that is how I approach it. And I do that because it systematically works for the majority. It systematically works for anyone. Now, what I'm telling you is what this side hustle is going to do. It's going to help you build your $1,000 emergency fund faster. It's going to help you pay off your debt faster. It's going to fully fund your emergency fund faster. It's going to save for your kids' college faster. It's going to pay off your house faster. You see, every single step, I'm just adding faster because that's what this side hustle is going to do. I don't care if it's $50. I don't care if it's $20. I don't care if it's $100. It's going to speed that up by that much every single time that you go out and perform the skill or trade in your time for cash. And it's going to go toward these steps. So you can see throughout all these, side hustles will speed up that process. Now, no matter your current step, remember, this side hustle is going to be your friend because it's going to get you to the next step. And that's how, when you're thinking about how you're going to stay motivated and driven to accomplish these goals, that's how you do it. This is important because of all of how I started. Sticking to a goal that feels like that there's little or no progress being made, those are so easy to give up on. They're so easy to give up on. So if you will make this side hustle your best friend, you'll navigate your finances using these side hustles to gain this extra cash. It can make that progress stay fluid so it continues to move. That's going to help you stay motivated. It's going to help you stay driven to get through that current step to move on up the staircase to the next one. Now, what I want to say is if you are ready and you're ready to jump on and take control of your finances and ensure you are on the right path to your financial goals, a financial coach could be just what you need. So go over to thefinancialmirror.org and fill out the contact form at the bottom if you just have questions, or right at the top of the screen, hit book now and book your free financial coaching consultation so we can go over a quick rundown to see if a financial coach is exactly what you're looking for. But what I can say is this: clients that reach out and that begin to work with a financial coach, they do have more success in reaching those goals. So stick to it. Know that financial coaching is an option. And if it ever is something that comes up for you, reach out. Finally, if you do want to give an extra dose of support to the stream, go over to my merch page. It's at thefinancialmirror.org/merch and pick up some awesome Financial Mirror gear. I truly appreciate everyone tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share with all the people that you work with, that you live with, that even your friends and family members. If you are listening on the podcast, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe and leave that 5-star review on Apple and Spotify and a written comment. Those truly go a long way in helping spread this message to so many others out there that could easily need just that little extra oomph for their finances. Till next week, continue improving the one thing you can control, yourself. Peace.
Well, that wraps up today's Financial Mirror. Join us next week as we continue to work on ourselves, change our mentality, and to commit to achieving the success we always envisioned. Regardless of your platform, help us grow as a community. Please like, subscribe, and share with the people in your lives.